Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Excited to have back with us Barbara Greene. She's our certified oral facial myofunctional therapist, talking to us today live from California, but she's helping people all over the world. Tonguethrust.com is the website. Thank you for being here again. How are you today?
I am good, thank you. I appreciate you asking. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. We're excited you're back to help talk to us about all these exercises that you're helping people with, and, whether it's a child, an adult, but helping with speech. As you mentioned, this stuff is not taught in medical, dental, orthodontic school, but a lot of people need this type of help. Myofunctional therapy, you say it can even stop symptoms of sleep apnea, right?
Right. So I will share a screen if you can let me do that.
Okay, please. Absolutely. Bring it on.
Okay.
Beautiful. Here we are.
There we have. So this is how people can contact me. 805-452-4302 or Barbara@tonguethrust.com, or just going to the website for information. And I do see patients in Ventura, California, but almost all my patients are on Zoom. So I have patients in Thailand right now, and Germany and England. So they're all over the place. So today what I'd like to do is just finalize what we've talked about over the last several weeks and what our goals are as a myofunctional therapist. So we eliminate sucking habits, we establish nasal breathing, we achieve lips closed posturing and breathing through the nose, we improve lip strength and tone, we establish balanced muscle matrix of our face, we achieve a palatal resting tongue posture, and we achieve a posterior palatal swallow. We improve head, neck, body posture, and we change the way they eat, drink, and sleep, and we correct dysfunctional habit patterns. So if we're talking about that list, then we correct sucking habits. So some children suck fingers, and some children suck their thumb, and sometimes they have extraneous habits of twirling their hair, or this child puts his finger in his nose. So we also have children who have pacifier habits, or they suck on blankets or teddy bears. Anytime that they have a sucking habit, they're also influencing how their muscles are going to work for the rest of their lives. So if we look at this picture, we see the thumb in a diagram of a person's mouth, and the tongue should be totally across the top of the mouth. Well, when the thumb is in the mouth, or fingers, or a pacifier, you can't. There's no way for the tongue to be where it's supposed to be. So, as a result, it learns to work down and forward, and it can affect the way that the teeth are coming in. So this person's tongue is causing what we call an open bite. And it also causes the teeth to be more narrow. Then we want to establish nasal breathing. Mouth breathing is not a good habit. You should not be breathing through your mouth during the daytime or at nighttime. Neither one helps you at all. So breathing through the nose is what we want to establish, because that's how air is filtered. It is warmed to the body temperature. It is moistened to the lungs being moist, and it has the bacteria killed. And so air that's going down to your lungs is much cleaner and more appropriate for the lungs. So when I patients generally who are they have allergies, they have asthma, they have a lot of colds and congestion all the time. So it's very important to stop that. We also look at how the lips are when a person is a mouth breather or when they have muscle dysfunction. So here's this person when we started his therapy, and notice the full fat lower lip and the shorter upper lip. Whereas after the therapy, his lips look much nicer.
Yeah.
Of course, he's sitting with his mouth closed.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another person before and after. And again, you can see the really fat lower lip, the short upper lip, and she looks so much better. And notice how her face has changed also.
Wow.
You know, her face is much more shapely.
It is. It looks thinner because, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess I got some pictures in the wrong.
That's okay. They're sideways. We can still figure it out.
Apologies. So this is just showing someone who's a mouth breather, and now she is not. But and it's also showing how we establish a balanced muscle matrix. So what do we mean by that? We have large muscles here in the side of our face called masseter muscles. We have a big muscle over our ear and our jaw joint called the temporalis muscle. And then we have muscles inside our mouth that are under our cheekbones. And those muscles should work as a team, because then your jaw joint is being supported and protected. And you are also protecting your bite. And the muscles then are working to keep your throat open at nighttime, sleep apnea. So these are just some exercises that we do with tubing and with a wafer that is a flexible piece of plastic. And here's another wafer that we needed to add some pieces because we need to put pressure on the teeth to work continually and functionally together. So we have to actually train those muscles with our exercises so that their face can change. Then we establish a correct resting tongue posture. So here's drawings of the inside of the mouth. So here would be the top of your mouth or the palate. The lips are out here. And here's the tongue. And then here's the teeth. So in this person, the tongue is totally incorrect.
Oh, wow.
Because this is what it should be. So the lips should be closed. The teeth should be slightly apart. And the tongue should rest across the top of the mouth when you are not talking or laughing or putting food in your mouth. So this is how you should be 24/7 when you are not doing those other things. But here's a person that when they're at rest, their mouth is open and the tongue is forward. But this is a person who is correctly using the muscles with the mouth being closed, and she has nice facial form.
Beautiful.
So then we want to establish a palatal swallow. People don't realize that they swallow as frequently as twice every minute of their lives. And that's during the daytime. And then they swallow once a minute every night. So all of those hours, our tongue should be across the top of the mouth like this. And then the back of our tongue should be touching our throat. So we actually stop breathing for the second that it takes for us to swallow. And our teeth should be together when we're swallowing, and our lips should be closed. But a lot of the people that I see, their tongue is not against the top of their mouth correctly and goes between their teeth instead. And the back of their tongue is not functioning correctly at all and is not going back against their throat and so they end up swallowing air, and then they have all sorts of digestion problems. Their teeth are separated when they swallow, and they use their facial muscles when they're swallowing to help them. So here's a person with an open mouth swallow and a person with a closed mouth swallow. So it's very important that we establish that, But the only way you can do it is with an exercise program that actually teaches them how to do that. So then we look at head, neck, body posture. And with head, neck, body posture, it is so critical that we realize that our head being tipped to the side all the time is not really correct posture. This is the same patient after we've taught her how to have good posture. And here's another patient, and we see so frequently that people, and especially in this day and age with all of our digital things, with iPhones and the computers and laptops and iPads, now the posture of the head and the shoulders are so much worse. And instead, we want to have a nice straight head posture and our shoulders back. So having correct body posture is very important. And we also need to correct any sleeping habits that we have. So here's a patient of mine, and just to get air to breathe with, this is how he has to sleep. And thankfully now, we just had his tonsils and adenoids taken out, and we are doing his therapy. And now he's sleeping on his back with his mouth closed. And so he completely changed his sleeping posture. So this is how a person should sleep. They should be sleeping on their back, and they should actually have a smaller pillow under their neck instead of a great big puffy pillow, because the head should stay in alignment with the body and not be pushed forward. Okay? So we want to keep the head and body in alignment. And so stomach sleeping is the biggest no-no. The side sleeping is still a no-no, but if you're side sleeping, you should be sure to have no hands under your face or under the pillow, no arms up under your face or under the pillow, and no pillow on the face. So the pillow should be back here and up the side of the head.
Got it.
And you should also sleep with a pillow between your knees so that your body is in more of an alignment instead of putting pressure on your face.
Got it.
Sleeping habits are very important.
Oh, yeah. See, my son does that back neck thing. He's 9. It scares me.
Yes. And unfortunately, it's difficult to correct everything unless you're also correcting everything else. In other words, I'm correcting their breathing. I'm correcting their tongue position, how they swallow, how they breathe, teaching them to breathe through their nose. And then we teach them how to eat correctly, how to drink correctly, and how to sleep correctly. Then we also have to get rid of bad habits. So bad habits can really help to ruin your face and your head, neck, body posture. And one of the biggest habits we have is leaning on our face. So any type of leaning is a no-no. So get your hands away from your face, everybody. And that also includes poor body posture when you're sitting in a chair or on the couch. So body posture needs to be correct no matter where you are. Then we have habits. So here's a person that has a weird lip habit, and here's another weird lip habit and cheek habit, and here's another weird mouth position, and so her bite is off to the side as a result of it, and she also has jaw joint issues as a result of it. Fingernail biting is very bad. Another thing that isn't really good, which I forgot to put in here, is somebody who smokes a pipe or that sort of thing in between their teeth all the time. That will move their teeth. And then it's how you smile. Even a smile can be dysfunctional when you're not using your muscles correctly. And then we have pen biting, and we also have cheek biting. So all of these habits, there's also lip biting, and there's the use of our cell phone. There are so many things. How did that happen? These were correct when I put them in the pictures. I so apologize. I should have gone back through every one of the slides. It's obvious. But this is a before and after picture of a patient. And not only did I change his life, but I helped him to stop sucking his thumb. I changed a lot of his ADHD habits and his facial tics. Many of those disappeared by doing the therapy. So helped him with his speech. I'm not a speech therapist, but we're only talking about sounds that involve the tip of the tongue and the back of the tongue. And so he also had a bite occurring. And when we finished his therapy, it was so much better. And it's not to say that he'll never have to have orthodontics, but at least everything has changed. So that's a quick review of how we can help a person change their life just by doing an exercise program that I see them once a week. And generally it takes about 4 months to change all of those things that you just saw. So making sure that they use everything correctly is so very important. So it's a matter of just taking the time each day to do some exercises twice a day. Then the next week we change their exercises. Then the next week we change them again.
Wow.
So in a 4-month period, all of those changes that we just looked at are taking place. And we're getting rid of all of the bad habits and helping them to establish really good habits. Yes. So what do you have as any questions, Jill?
Well, it's funny because I have a 7-year-old, 9-year-old. One has orthodontic treatment already as a palate expander. He's got the 3 braces in the front because he still hasn't lost all his teeth, right? And I worry about it now because I see all these pictures and it makes me think like my son, sleeps with his mouth open with his head back like that. I'm like, what's going to happen? Like, and there's other things to do besides orthodontist, which I didn't, going to an orthodontist that I didn't realize you could start doing. So, what type of exercises, if my son's sleeping in a weird position, what do we do?
Well, the thing that you would need to do is contact someone like myself, and I can work on Zoom, seeing as how we don't live in the same city, or there are many myofunctional therapists online, and sometimes there's one in your general area as well. But he would need to see someone that can help him to learn how to use everything correctly. So as I said, it's a step-by-step process each week where we start out just starting to get his tongue in the right position at rest. And we start just starting to get his mouth closed. But as weeks progress, about week 6, in my lesson plan, we're now starting in a correct normal swallow that he would be using the rest of his life. We would be making sure that he's sleeping correctly. So we would teach him how to sleep at night. And we would have him do some exercises prior to going to sleep to train his subconscious mind for this new habit that he's going to have.
Yeah.
All the rest of his life. And then we have him keep a chart. And so when he wakes up in the morning, he tells us, was my tongue across the top of my mouth? Were my lips closed? Did I wake up on my back? Or did I wake up on my sides or on my stomach? And so then it gives us a clue as to what we primarily need to work on with him to help him to learn a whole different way of sleeping and a whole different way of breathing. Now, the sad thing is a lot of people don't use myofunctional therapists. So here you are spending a few $1,000s to do orthodontics with him and expansion, and it might all turn out beautiful and he'll have a nice bite and everything, but I can almost guarantee you that within a few months his bite will be back open again.
Yep.
If you don't retrain the muscles and you don't correct the mouth breathing and the sleeping habits. So it's such a short period in someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how fast 6 months goes in a year. Look at us. We're almost in December already. And I can't even believe that in the holidays, although I do have my Christmas tree up already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that you need to take the responsibility yourself then and have him do the myofunctional therapy. But unfortunately, depending on the type of expansion appliance, we would have to wait until that part of his orthodontics is done.
Mm-hmm.
It takes around a 6 to 9 month period. Then we take out the expansion appliance and immediately start his myofunctional therapy.
Yeah.
So that when the rest of his teeth are corrected with the braces, they'll stay in place.
Got it.
I've got a patient right now who's had braces 7 times.
What?
7 times. All different kinds of braces, including 2 Invisalign.
No.
And now he's in another Invisalign set.
Wow.
So people assume that they're going to be fine. But he has terrible head, neck, body posture. He's a full-time mouth breather. He swallows incorrectly. He speaks a lot of his words incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to fail again if he doesn't complete a myofunctional therapy program.
Got it.
So it's very sad that that's the case for a lot of people in the world today. And it doesn't matter where you, in fact, I just got an email from one of my patients who is in China and just checking in with me saying how well he is still doing and how am I type of thing. And letting me know that now he's moved to Prague. He works for an American business, but he works all over the world, it's obvious, with his job. So he's now in Prague. So it's interesting how easy it is to actually correct all of the things that I talked about. And there's even more things to talk about.
Yeah. Well,
those are the main things.
Well, and just to let people know, if you are tuning in, Barbara Greene, obviously she can be reached here at tonguethrust.com, and she is here helping so many, and you could be anywhere. As you say, the potential of the human body is infinite. I love that, right? You've said that before in your quotes on the show, and clearly
I love that you remember that.
I do.
Because it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The potential of the human body is infinite or limitless. And it's so exciting to see a person totally change in front of your eyes as the weeks go by. And they feel different, they look different, they act different.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a child who has ADHD type symptoms, having trouble in school, and you do the myofunctional therapy and it changes all of that.
Yes.
I mean, is that amazing or what? You know, that your child now can sit and be a good student. It just means that before, all of his body was working incorrectly, and now his body is not. It's working correctly.
Perfect.
And so, yes. So hopefully someday I'll see your 7 and 9-year-olds.
Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day. Always a pleasure having you here, and we'll look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you, Barbara Greene.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye, darling. Thank you. Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.